Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Everything Horror. I'm your host, Tessa Baker, and I am joined by my co-host and co-assistant hosts. Say hi, guys.
Hello.
Hey.
That's Mr. Paul Dolsky and Crystal. Our episode that we are going to talk about tonight is XX. The Anthology of Horror, and this is a movie that is on Netflix.
So make sure to go check it out because it really is interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting, all right, especially the
First tale,
which is entitled The Box. And the box is essentially about a stranger on a train with a red present box. And this little boy named Danny is very curious and nosy and insists on knowing what's in the box. Well, the stranger shows Danny what's in the box, which we don't get to see. And, what happens, guys? What happens to Danny?
Well,
He goes on a diet that I wish I could go on.
Not eating for 5 days.
Not eating for 5 days, just not being hungry.
Yeah, no matter what was put in front of him food-wise. And he had everything from spaghetti to pizza to ribs and potatoes to Chinese.
Which we have to make a mental note that pizza was his favorite.
Yeah, which pizza was his favorite meal ever. And he had mac and cheese and KFC one night. And he had all of these things put in front of him. All of these delicious, yummy comfort foods put in front of him. And he would not touch a single bite. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there's something clearly wrong with this child if he is turning down pizza, of all things. I and Paul are avid pizza lovers. I'm sure Crystal probably is, but that's one of mine and Paul's favorite foods ever.
Especially on a Friday night when you get out at 8 o'clock at night.
Which
hey, what do you want to make? Let's make pizza. Okay.
Which tomorrow that will be our dinner, pizza, and I got stuffed crust.
Oh yes. Oh num 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 num.
Hey, you put Chinese in front of me.
Oh, we had
That's
that.
one bit left.
Oh, we had that last Friday.
That's what I ate tonight was Chinese. I can eat Chinese all day, every day. That's my food to go to.
Yeah, that's what we were craving last week.
What's your favorite Chinese, Crystal?
It's really a hard decision to even say. Probably by far my favorite is Singapore noodle.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Mine and Paul's favorite, we actually have a mutual favorite, is sesame chicken.
Sesame chicken's good.
Which is another interesting fun fact about Paul and I. We have a lot of the same tastes and the same kinds of food, and we often eat similar, if not almost the same exact thing, almost down to the only difference being the dressing.
I did have to punish Tessa, though, the first time she got me Chinese, though.
You told me to get you white rice, so why would I be punished for something you told me to do?
Because apparently I was confused of what you were talking about.
Apparently, but I got it right the second time, didn't I? Damn
right.
it. Yeah. So Paul and I, for our Chinese, we like sesame seed chicken and pork fried rice.
Yep.
And I have to make sure that I bring home soy sauce and duck sauce, especially for the spring egg rolls.
Well, I don't mind.
I love duck sauce. Duck sauce is beautiful.
Yes. I was going to say, I don't really use the soy sauce in the package that much.
But you use the duck sauce for the spring
duck
roll.
sauce because it's so yummy. Nom nom
Dude,
nom.
if they sold duck sauce in bottles, I'd have 3 of them.
Oh my god, right?
So Susan's the mother, and
she is one crazy bitch.
She is a crazy bitch. And then you've got Jenny, who's the daughter, and Danny's sister. And then you've got Robert, who is the kid's father and Susan's husband. So Danny's not eating. he goes 5 days by himself without eating. He loses 5 pounds by the time that his parents bring him to the doctors. And the doctor's like, well, why didn't you bring him to me sooner? And they were just like, we don't know. And even though Robert encouraged Susan for them to take Danny to the doctors sooner, Susan just kind of waved it off like, it's okay, it's probably nothing, he's probably, sneaking junk food or something, everything's probably fine. So they take him to the doctors, he loses 5 pounds, and the doctor himself is even concerned, asks, is there something going on at home? Are you guys fighting? Because this is like a sign of like serious emotional trauma. And they're like, no, why would there be? Everything's fine at home, blah, blah, blah. And so they go home, and before they go home, the doctor's like, well, keep me posted, and especially if he's still not eating, let me know. So they go home, and that night, what was it that they had? I think it was Chinese or something.
Yeah, it was like Chinese after the doctor, and then it went like.
And then Danny and Jenny are talking, and that's the brother and sister. And so Jenny's in talking with Danny one night, and Susan overhears them talking about something or whispering or whatever, and she goes in to like investigate. And because she's nosy, and she's like trying to like get Danny to like tell Danny or Jenny to tell her what they're talking about, like, is it something to do with why you're not eating kind of stuff, that kind of stuff. And they won't tell her, but the look on Jenny's face, like when Susan's like, well, what's wrong? And she goes, nothing, Mom. Good night. And then the next morning, so you get to the next morning, which is like, what was it? It was, by this point,
KFC, I think.
It was a Thursday when Jenny was infected. So Friday morning, she's getting ready to go off to school, and Susan calls her in, reminds her to take her lunch, and then tries to offer her breakfast, which Jenny then says,
I'm not hungry.
I'm not hungry.
Oh boy. Here we go again. So now it's KFC night. And mac and cheese and everything. And Jenny and Danny are both not eating. And at this point, the father is
pretty upset,
pretty worked up. How can you be eating when our children are starving? And she's like, well, I have to eat, don't I? And at this point, you could just see like the utter look of disgust on Robert's face with Susan. And he just gets up from the table and leaves. And Susan's still sitting there. Eating away and practically throwing the fucking chicken leg across the room with how she throws it down so violently on the plate. And so you go upstairs to Danny's room, and Robert goes in and he goes to talk to his son, and he's like practically pleading with Danny to know what's going on with him, in which case Danny whispers into Robert's ear and tells him. And this is a Friday, so Robert is now infected with whatever is going on with Danny and Jenny. So
during that night, too, when Robert goes back to bed, the mother is like
having a nightmare or a dream or something.
This is before that.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about she kind of pokes and prods.
Yeah, like, what did Danny say to you? Oh, nothing.
Yeah, the response is either nothing, just stuff, or some other response to completely avoid.
Hungry.
Yeah.
Or something, yeah. So, Crystal, what happens after this? After this weird, like, conversation in the bed, and then what did it, like, show?
So, this is where it gets a little weird. The mom goes to sleep, and she's like fluttering her eyes, like she's waking up, whatever. But you can see her kind of shaking. And as the camera pans out, you see Danny, Robert, and Jenny all sitting at the table, cutting chunks of her leg off and putting them on a plate to be served to each other.
Yummy.
Nom, nom, nom.
And the only thing the mother does, Susan does, is she just smiles. So, like, I'm guessing she was happy her family was eating.
Yeah.
I don't know, but they were just eating her leg.
Yeah, that's
And arm.
yeah, that's what Paul and I were kind of gathering too. Like, the reason why she was smiling was that she was finally glad that her family was eating something, even if it was her. You know?
I'm not gonna lie, if someone's cutting into my leg, no matter how happy I was that you were eating again, I'm still gonna be hooping and hollering because you're cutting into my leg.
Yeah, right?
I'm just not gonna lay there and take it like a champ like she did.
Yeah, well, at this point in time, she probably couldn't really move anyway because of how
Much blood she's lost.
Blood she lost, yeah. She was
bad
probably
in the
almost
muscle.
on the cusp of dying and all that anyway.
Yeah, well, she should have already been dead, I thought, too. So, why is she still alive? I don't know. I guess that's just a different story. But all we know is that she was glad that they were eating, all of them. The kids and Robert.
So, then it goes into... Around what holiday is this happening, Crystal?
It's Christmas time.
Yeah. So, after the weird, I guess, nightmare dream sequence or whatever, what happens then?
Like, start celebrating Christmas. Like, the mom's like, even though everyone was happy, even though their clothes didn't fit and this and that, and all you see is 3 anorexic looking people. Poor
Yeah.
Danny is a skeleton. Jenny, they show Jenny's like midriff, and all you can see is her ribs and like her hips are just like all that was sticking out, like protruding. They're all sickly looking, but they're all having a good time opening their gifts. And Robert gets chocolate, and he kind of looks at it like, "What am I going to do with this? I'm not eating." But he's still happy he got his chocolate, I guess. And then you see the box. Danny had the red box. And the mom asked Danny, "Where'd you get this from? Didn't the guy on the train have a red box like this?" And she starts kind of freaking out, and she asks Danny, "What's in the box? What's in the box?"
Do you remember
Do you
what
remember?
was in the box?
Do you remember that day when we were on the train, and you remember the man with the red box? What was? Do you remember what was in that box? And he would shake his head yes. And then she asked him, and what was his response, Crystal?
I want to say he told her nothing.
Yep. Yep. He said nothing, and she goes, "That's it? Nothing?"
Is this some kind of joke or something? She's like, then she gets kind of like mad. Like, is this kind of some kind of joke?
Yeah, like I said, she's just one crazy person.
And then, yeah, I don't know. I want to know what's in the box. I thought at that point in time, the movie, they were going to tell me what's in the damn box.
Yeah, I think we all wanted to know what was inside that fucking red box. We were all like, what the hell is that? I know Paul and I were definitely like, what is in the fucking box?
That's what I was like.
It's like,
tell me what's in this goddamn box already. I need to know what's in this box. And they never tell us.
So after they celebrate Christmas, what happens, babe? Where did the family end up?
The hospital.
Yep.
And then they were on, what was it, the life report in the ER?
Yep, all 3 of them, Robert, Jenny, and Danny, are all on life support.
Yep. And then, what was it? This was like sometime after Christmas, so then it was January 17th when Danny died.
From starvation. And then Jenny went when? When did she go?
She died on February 3rd, which was like 24 days, so like 3 weeks later, and then Robert died.
Yep, and then Robert dies on February 27th. So at this point, everybody but Susan is gone. They've died. Susan then rides the train every single day, hoping to find the mysterious stranger with the red box. Because she wants to know so desperately what's inside the box, because she feels if she knows,
it's going to bring her one step closer to the edge.
And it's going to bring her closer to her family. She feels that's the only way that she can be close to her family again, is if she knows what's inside the box. And she never ends up finding them, at least not in the tale. So let's see here.
So what do you guys think was in the box? Do you have any idea of what it could have been?
There's so many theories of what could have been in that box that could have made poor Danny lose his appetite. I mean, maybe it was like you and I were saying the other night. Maybe it was like something like him in the box, like dismembered or something that grossed him out to the point where he didn't want to eat. I don't know. What do you think, Crystal? What do you think was in the box?
In all honesty, I think what the box really represented. Well, there's two things. Something like the Red Death, the plague.
Oh yeah.
It could have been that. Or it could have been Susan's worst fear, which was watching her family die, and there was nothing she could absolutely do about it. No matter how hard she tried at the end to figure out what was happening to her family, there was nothing she could do to stop losing her family. Those are my two ideas of what was actually in the box.
I like it.
Now, Crystal, do you want to talk about the next tale, the birthday party?
I don't remember the lady's name. I don't
Mary.
remember the name.
Mary's the mother.
Okay, what's the little girl's name?
Lucy.
Okay.
And then David is her father, and then Carla is like the assistant.
Okay.
The other crazy person.
Here, you might have to remind me on the names. I mean, I know the movie, but I just don't know the names. So, Mary is very, like, paranoid or something. Like, they're celebrating Lucy's birthday. So, Carla comes up to Mary and tells Mary that her husband's home, that she saw his car outside the driveway, and Mary's like, well, no, he's not. No, he can't be. He's still on his trip, you know. So she thinks that he's not there. So she tells Carla to go get ready for Lucy's birthday. So as Mary goes into David's office, she finds her husband sitting there, and she's so happy. She's like, oh, Lucy's going to be excited to see you, and, you know, it's on our birthdays. Well, he's kind of slumped over in his office chair at his desk, and he's not moving. And then she goes up to him and gives him a hug and realizes that he has died. He is dead. She finds, like, prescription pills, alcohol. So apparently he has overdosed and died on medicine and alcohol, which is a bad combination anyway. So from what Carla had said about Lucy and her mother, Lucy has, like, such high anxiety because of how her mother acts. Her mother's, like, really high anxiety, really OCD, kind of, like, nervous train wreck kind of woman. Well, when she finds David, like, she's flipping out, and she tries to get rid of the body, which I don't understand. Like, she sees Carla, I believe, outside or across through the window in the other part of the house.
Yeah.
So she actually grabs David and puts him into the closet.
Yeah, I could not believe that she did that. I was just sitting there like, what the fuck are you doing, lady?
Why don't you just call the cops
fucking
or
paramedics?
The
yeah. It's like, why are you trying to hide him?
Yeah, I didn't understand that part about it. And I think Carla comes in to look for something. She walks back out.
Lucy's markers.
Lucy comes in, and she tells her mother that she's had an accident in her panda outfit, which she's peed on herself. So it makes her into a spooky ghost. And she's happy, and she goes running off again. And as she goes off, Mary drags David's body all the way from the closet to the living room while she's trying to, go undetected from Carla and Lucy, and she's still freaking out on what's going on. And then a neighbor shows up. Madeline. She comes knocking on the door, and Mary's hiding behind the couch with the body of David. And she finally gets up, and Madeline's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" She was like,
looking for something.
I want to say she was fixing the rugs or something, she tells her. And so Madeline's talking to her, she's super really fucking annoying. I couldn't stand that character. And she's talking about getting cupcakes from this hip little cupcake shop down the street, and how people are talking about this party and how she wasn't invited, so Mary ends up inviting her. And she's like, "Oh yeah, I'd love to come." And so poor Mary's trying to usher her out, just get out, what did you want? Why did you come here? And so that's pretty much what it was. She wanted to be a part of the birthday party. So she gets invited, and she tells Mary, "If you need anything, I'll get you." And shuts the door in her face and leaves her. So she goes back to David, and I think she is still trying to get him out of the living room when the doorbell rings, or the door gets knocked on. So she's like, "Oh." She goes and opens the door, and is a fucking singing panda telegraph person. Busted rhymes. And she's like, "I'm not," he's trying to sing for Lucy. She's like, "I'm not Lucy. How much is that panda outfit, by the way?" And the guy's like, "Well, it's a rental." And Mary pretty much tells him, "I'll give you $1,000 for the panda
medical marijuana.
And miracle
marijuana from the knee surgery she had last year. So who can pass up on a year-old bag of miracle marijuana? So he takes the deal. And the next thing you see is Mary dragging a dead David halfway dressed in the panda outfit. And at that point in time, Lucy yells, "They're here, they're here." And the party is about to start. And by this time, Mary is just, she really was an emotional train wreck. She was just out of it. This made it even worse. So she finally gets David completely dressed into the panda suit and sits him at one edge of the table. And let's stop right here. And can we talk about the fucking kids' costumes they showed up in? I swear to God, one of them was a sperm.
I think one was a toilet, too.
One was a toilet, one looked like a sperm. Who dresses their kids like this?
I think one was, meant to be dressed like a fucking umbrella or something. I don't know. It was just fucking really weird costume party. And why would you dress your dead husband in a panda suit and sit him at the fucking birthday party table?
With all the kids dancing around him, is having a good old fucking time, and no one even questions why there's a panda sitting at the table. No one seems to care.
Yeah,
all the parents are sitting there. Yeah, he's just sitting there. I'm like, you think he's a stuffed animal? I mean, all the parents are sitting around Mary, and they're all just talking and all, and the kids are dancing and cheering around.
You see Mary pouring the flask of alcohol into the cup and sipping
which
out of it.
Which she found in David.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? This is me right here. This is me every day surrounded by people. I just want to pull out a flask and take a drink.
Right.
But You could tell it really started to mess with Mary, though, because all she could do was stare at the panda. That's all she focused on with David across the table. And they bring in a birthday cake, and they're all cheering. And I want to say Clara or Carol, the assistant,
Carla,
Carla bumps David. And as she bumps him, he kind of lurches back. And then Mary's eyes get big, and as he leans forward, she's just like, oh no. And he falls face first into the cake. And everyone just like stops, they're shocked. And as Carla lifts up the panda head to try to pull him back, pop off goes the head, and there is David. And the kids start screaming and freaking out. And the parents are all like,
"Oh my god!
Fuck?"
Oh my god!"
And Mary's just sitting there, going, "Fuck me." Like, that's all she had. Really, like, no emotion on her face as all this was going on. Like, you could tell, like, she had left the building. Her body was there, but there was nothing left for that poor frazzled woman. She had done all that work.
Just to have it undone in the end, yeah.
To have it look like she killed her husband, when all you had to do
was call the
paramedics and told them, hey, my husband's dead, he's not breathing, can you please come here?
And
all the hard work for nothing.
Yeah, and poor Lucy ends up traumatized from it all.
Well,
and that's why she has trouble with relationships.
Yep. And that is why she's also has to go to a therapist because of the mothers as well.
Yeah. Well, high anxiety and all that. That poor little girl. So, I think Lucy may have been adopted.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
yeah,
that.
we're thinking so because neither one of her parents are
African American.
Yeah,
look
like her.
When I saw Lucy, I was like, okay, she has to be adopted, or maybe she was a daughter from her previous marriage or husband or something.
Maybe, yeah, or she was adopted. I don't know.
You know, something. She had to be something because both of them were clearly of white descent, and Lucy was not of white descent. She was mixed, or she was adopted. So she could have been one of the parents' child from my previous marriage. I'm not sure though. They really didn't go into details about poor Lucy. They didn't really give too much information on her.
Yeah, that's the one thing that story kind of failed to do. Do I give a little bit more about the characters? But that's okay.
It was still fucked up. I still laughed at it. I thought that was probably the funniest one out of all of them. I was just like, you gotta be shitting me. Call the ambulance. End this right now.
Right. So yeah, what's the next tale?
So, babe, you want to talk about Don't Fall?
Sure, I'll talk about Don't Fall. So we got 4 people that were taking this hiking trip, we'll say, that shouldn't even be there because apparently it's prohibited. But Mr. Paul, aka who I am, got this like awesome tip about this place, I guess, from what I understood.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, I'm trying to remember.
They go on a hiking trip to like this place that they're not supposed to be at, like you said. It's
right.
Like exclusive. Nobody knows about it. Shh, hush, hush.
Yeah. So Jess is the one that was like got freaked out from Jay, right?
No, Gretchen.
Gretchen
was the one that got freaked out.
Okay.
Yeah, she's like, I've always been afraid of heights and blah 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 because they were trying to joke around and say, "Don't fall."
Yeah, which I'll bring something up too near the end of this too as well. But yeah, so they don't fall, and she kind of like just like, "Screw you guys," and then go to, like, calm herself by leaning against this, like, ancient rock, while Paul, the brother, would, like, make sure you're watching out for scorpion, because the lighter the color, the dangerous they are, and just stupid stuff. But, then they come across, well, first, Gretchen is, she, like, freaks out because something may have, like, tucked her hand or something. So that's when they notice these weird markings on the rock.
It's like a weird painted mural on the wall.
Yeah.
Of, like, this demonic figure and some other shadows.
That they couldn't really quite understand. And, so they just kind of brushed it off, whatever. And then later on that night is when you find out, like, Paul got the tip from this person and all this other jazz, and how, like, he should be the plan-in one for all the trips for every year. And then, what was it? Jay, I believe, was mentioning about the strip clubs and stuff like that. But anyway, it kind of gets boring and stupid for a few minutes, and then the interesting parts happen, which is Gretchen is, like, awake, like, come to be awake, and she's in this, I guess, cave, I want to say, or something, and it's pretty much almost like right by that rock from earlier. But the difference is that now her hand is just, like, infected by whatever, I'm assuming that, like, got tucked her. And then, that's when you see the shadow creature and the myth thing come at her. So then later on you see, Jay. He, like, can't sleep or something, and he notices Gretchen, or hears her or something.
He sees her, notices her.
Notices her. And then what happens next, Crystal?
So as he sees her, she has her back to him, and you hear her, like, make these, like, demonic growling noises, and as her body starts, like, changing, you hear her bones popping and stuff, and she tells him, "You shouldn't be here, go." Like, she warns him to leave. She tries to get her brother to leave. And, was it her brother or was it the other guy?
It was the other guy.
It was the other guy.
Jay. Paul's her brother.
So she tells Jay, "You shouldn't be here, get out of here." You know, she warns him. And so he finally takes off as he's watching her transform into whatever she's about to become. So he gets back into the van and he grabs the keys and he starts up. Well, Paul then's like, "Where's Gretchen?" and all that. He's like, "Yeah, we gotta go, And
he's like, "The hell we are. I ain't gonna leave my sister.
I'm not gonna leave my sister. My sister's still out there." So he goes to find her.
Big mistake.
Big mistake. You guys want to take it back from here?
I'll let Tessa take it. What happened next?
Okay, so Paul goes out to try to, see how his sister is and see if she's all right. He's all concerned, thinking that, she's hurt. And in which case, she starts going after Paul. And, you don't really see what she does, but you can hear a lot of commotion and, Paul screaming, and then all of a sudden, Paul gets thrown through the back window of the RV. And, he's dead, obviously. And, Jess and Jay are freaking out, and they're trying to get out of the RV, and Jess runs out first, and the door slams behind Jess. Behind Jess, and Jay's trapped inside the RV, in which case you,
Well, I think Jay shut the door, or Jeff did. I don't really know. It wasn't really clear.
The door closes either way.
Either way, yeah.
It gets jammed or something. He can't get out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jess tries to get Jay out, and the door won't open. And then Gretchen's inside the RV at this point, in her, let's just say her, for lack of a better word, Wendigo form, because that's exactly what she reminds me of when you see her changed. All I could think of was like, oh damn, this chick is like a Wendigo from like Until Dawn. And she starts ripping into Jay, and you see blood spraying everywhere. And nom, and Jay's obviously dead.
Of course.
And then it flashes to Jess running, and she's trying to get away, and she
trips and falls and breaks her leg.
Yep, trips and falls and breaks her leg, and she, tries to like bind her wound with her shirt, and she's all panicked and scared, and she looks up, and just as she looks up, she sees the Wendigo Gretchen looking down at her and starts crawling down the wall towards her. And death from above, as I call it, kills Jess.
The end.
The end.
Now, I know I didn't mention it, so we'll talk about the Gretchen changing, shall we? How interesting were the effects?
Pretty interesting.
I enjoyed them. It brought back like old school horror 80s movie kind of effects, which I appreciated that. Like kind of that howling in a way when they start changing, like just very old schoolish, not like super over the top like CGI and all that, but that was enough to know what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, I mean the spine and stuff like that, like that alone was even like ridiculously done cool. I'm still trying to figure out if that was makeup or if it was CGI, but either way, I thought it was still pretty
freaking cool.
Done. Yeah, it was still pretty neat.
Yeah, like the way they did her spine and her hands and stuff like that is freaking awesome.
She was just creepy altogether, especially when Jess looked up and Gretchen was like hovering over her. Even when Gretchen like stuck her head through the back window and you saw her for what she actually was, I was like, oh shit. I know, it's time to go. You go get your sister, I'm going home.
Screw you guys, I'm out.
I'm going home.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
Exactly, in the famous words of Cartman.
I'm going to get my titty for this. Excuse me, I'm going
Exactly. Alright, yeah, I mean, so far, they've been interesting, I guess. And then this last tale, right?
Mm-hmm.
It makes it even more interesting.
Okay, so the last tale for this film is called Her Only Living Son. It's basically, from what we've gathered from the story, it's about a woman who hides her son from his biological father. She takes him and she runs away and does everything in her power to keep her son from his father. We aren't quite sure at this point why she's so like set on keeping him from him. But we learn later, which we'll get to. So Andy is the son, and then Cora is the mother, and then Chet is the mailman, what I thought in the beginning, the overly friendly mailman. But anyways, so alright. So, Andy's 18th birthday is approaching, It's, thank you. And all Andy wants for his 18th birthday is to see his father. Which Cora goes, you know, you could have anything else in the world. Why that? He hasn't been there for you ever. He's, you know, where has he been your whole life? You know, he hasn't made an appearance once, blah, blah, blah.
He's too busy wanting to be in movies in Hollywood.
Yeah, with his girlfriends in his beach house or whatever. Yeah, too busy for Andy. Why would he even want to, you know, have contact with his father after all that, blah, blah, blah. And, you see examples throughout this tale of Andy's odd yet destructive and disturbing behavior. What were some of the things that were kind of destructive and disturbing about his behavior, Crystal?
Well, there were several that you can see throughout the film. The first one was when he's actually outside with their dog. Like, I don't know if he was playing fetch the dog or whooping the dog with a stick at some points, because the dog would be whining when he was out there with the dog. Mm-hmm. But at one point, Cora does go out there because the dog is still barking. She goes up to see what's going on with the dog, so upset about it, and as she turns around the tree that the dog is sitting by, there's a squirrel nailed to the tree, and I want to say it had been gutted, if I'm not mistaken, or at least cut open. But he had nailed a squirrel to the tree, and it was hanging there dead. There's right after that, there's a part where they're cooking breakfast or eggs, you know, and they're farm eggs. So if you don't know what farm eggs are, they're like fresh eggs. And sometimes when you get fresh eggs, you will get an embryo, which is a little bitty red bloody dot in an egg. You're not supposed to eat that. Well, Andy actually scoops it out of the bowl and eats the developing embryo out of the chicken egg, which made me gag. I'm like, oop, salmonella. So, the other one that really makes you start seeing is she tells Andy that she's got to go to school about what he had done. What did you do? And he tells her, well, go to school and you'll find out, whatever. You know, Andy won't go with her. So, Cora goes to school for the meeting with the principal, and you find out that, I can't remember the young lady's name, but he actually had ripped out another student's fingernails.
Ripped them all off. Clean off.
With pliers. And his reasoning was because he felt like it. He wanted to. There was no other reasoning why he did that. And the mother of the daughter that he ripped the nails off of, you know, was like, you got to do something. You got to discipline them, you know. My daughter is, you know, a straight student. She's, you know, what's it called? The valedictorian of, you know, her class. And, you know, you're going to let him do this to her? And pretty much the principal kind of shoos the mother away and is like, we're not going to do nothing to him. Maybe your daughter should take some time off from school until after the dust settles. And so the mother looks at Cora and she's like, you've been right by my family. You know, we have no problems with you, but you've got to do something about your son. And
otherwise you need help too. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's when the principal kind of starts giving you the clues of what's going on. You know, they've been waiting for Andy, and Andy's an exceptional student, and, you know, he's going to change the world. He's going to lead the world to where it needs to go, and they support Andy. And Cora is just like, oh, fuck. Because she knows what's happening, I think, in a way. I think it's starting to sink in. We don't really know what's happening yet, but she's starting to realize what's happening.
Yeah, because they see Andy as, like, something special, like a prodigy, or...
Yeah, because the principal used the word prodigy.
Yeah, sees him as a prodigy. So then it's the night before Andy's birthday, and Cora makes Andy a cake for his 18th birthday, which Andy ends up refusing.
Yeah, because he, well, first he went to stay the night at a friend's house, which...
He left a note for his mother saying that he was going to be gone for the night and he'd be back.
Which I don't think that really went well.
The next day. No, it did not. So, Andy left a note for his mother stating that he was going to be gone for the night and that he wasn't going to be back home. He was going to his friend Rudy's house or whatever. And so, it's bedtime and Cora's in bed and she's sleeping and she's dreaming. She's dreaming about Andy and, you know, their past and everything. And then she wakes up. And she hears something in the house. And she goes to investigate. And she opens the bathroom door to find Andy in there. And the bathroom is a bloody mess. And Andy
slams the door in her,
goes to slam the door in her face. And he's like, you know what I want for my 18th birthday, Mom? Some privacy. I would like some fucking privacy. And then slams the door in her face. And she's just all apologetic, like, Andy, I'm so sorry, I didn't know you were home, you know, I wasn't expecting you to be here, you said you were going to be, you know, at your friend's house or whatever, I was startled because I didn't expect anybody else to be here, which is a normal fucking reaction if you ask me.
Yeah.
I'd have probably done more than her. I'd have had a puddle weapon and I'd been ready to shoot for that.
Yeah, I would have had a fucking baseball bat being like, who the fuck is in my house?
Agreed. Or in this case, I would have had my medieval double-bladed axe in my...
So, it goes to the next morning, and Cora goes to say to Andy, happy birthday, sweetie, and Andy's like, well, don't wait up for me, Mom. And she's outside, and she's all upset, and she's hanging up laundry, and Chet shows up, the mailman. In which Chet is talking to Cora about Andy, and she's like, I don't feel like he's my Andy anymore. You know, he's changed, he's changing, he's becoming something else. Which Chet replies, well, he wasn't really yours to begin with, was he, Cora? In which she kind of tilts her head like, what the hell are you talking about? And
he said you need to stop fighting him and stuff like that. And then, like, don't you remember, and all this other jazz, and then that's when I think she started to,
fully understand what was happening.
Yep, she started to fully understand what was happening, and that Chet was like a disciple of, like, Andy's father, and saw Andy as, like, this, like, big prodigy. And she's going inside to, like, retreat inside the house. And he's like, this is the glorious day. You should be happy for this day. In which he said, he talks to her about the agreement that Cora and her Andy's father had, and saying that he didn't understand, like, the full agreement, and it was like misunderstood of who she was being given to. I think it was around that. And so Cora goes to go inside, and you can hear Chet saying, you know, praises darkness, repeating himself, praises darkness, and all, like, happy in the feels about this dark shit approaching. And Cora goes inside and starts snooping through Andy's bedroom, trying to find clues or whatever, in which case she looks underneath Andy's bed and finds what, baby?
The box of nails from what's her face? that got her nails ripped off, I believe. And his toenails.
Yep, his weird, black, really long and sharp-looking fucking toenail clippings.
Yeah.
Which,
not human.
Not human whatsoever. So, Cora hears a slam, like Andy's come in, and she immediately covers up the box and hides it, puts it back underneath the bed, and goes and hides in the closet. Andy comes storming in, flops down on his bed.
Takes off his shoes.
Very carefully.
Yeah.
To reveal these
awesome, long-ass toenails.
Which are clearly not human.
No.
And he's sitting there with what Paul and I can only describe as, like, a pair of, like, clippers you would use to, like, trim or, like, prune roses or whatever with. And starts clipping away at his nails, in which Cora makes a noise when Andy goes to clip one off. And at this point, Andy knows that his mother's hiding in the closet. Goes storming over to the closet, starts banging on it, and then storms out of the room.
Not to mention, he's making, like, growling noises as he's doing it.
Yeah.
He's, like, making these demented grunts.
Yep, demented grunts and growling noises like something that is not of this earth. And so Cora comes out of hiding from the closet, and she goes to walk into the kitchen, and Andy's back is to her. And she's like, "Andy, I am your mother, look at me." You know, telling him to turn around and look at her and, and talk to her and stuff. And Andy turns around and he's clearly all pissed off, which you can see it in his face. And,
mentions about a lady that came up to him.
Yeah, starts talking about this random lady that comes up to him, never seen him before in his life, and knows his name, knows who his father is, and everything else. And he then he then goes to his mother. She was talking about how, like, goes back to how he said something like, though the lady said that I was his only living son. And he's like, how can that be, Mom? You told me that he was remarried, had kids with someone else off somewheres, and, and Cora was like, he has, and, he does, and everything else. And then Andy's, like, very disbelieving of her, and he's like, I want you to kneel. I want you to bow to me. And he's, like, talking about, like, all I can dream about is, like, this kingdom of, like, misery and pain and darkness and all this other stuff. And his mom's like, don't say things like that, don't talk like that. And then he's like, now I want you to crawl to me. So I'm going to pause right here for a second. Now, one of the things that I thought when he had her get down on her knees and crawl to him was, I saw it as a way that he was testing her to see what she would be willing to do for him. Like, to see how far her devotion and her love for her son extends. That's what I got from it. I don't know what you guys got from it. What did you guys gather from that?
I got, ooh, this kid needs ass whooping from a good old Southern switch butt whooping. Go out there and pick your switch and get a spanking, because I told my mom and daddy, get on your knees and crawl to me, I wouldn't have a house. They'd put me in the yard. So, I mean, but I do agree with you, Tessa. I do think, like, I think it was testing her to actually see how devoted she was. And also, I think in a way he was testing testing her faith because, being, like, I would say being Catholic, but, cause she always wore a cross on her neck. She had a little cross necklace. So I also think it kind of, like, tested her faith to see if she would actually cave into what he wanted instead of her standing up for what she believed in. So, I mean, it could go either way, just to see, if she held true to her faith, or was her son more important to her than that.
Do you think that if she would have denied him and not kneeled nor crawled to him, do you think that would have pushed him even further towards going to his father's side?
I think so.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. What did you think, baby?
I thought she did it out of fear, besides the fact of, like, love and stuff, but I think she did it all because she was just in fear, because she didn't know what to do.
He did say that he had wanted to kill her, so, I mean...
Yeah, he did talk about wanting to kill her. He's like, I've had thoughts about murdering you.
Yeah, I mean... It's quite clear that she could have done it for a lot of things. I just kind of looked at it as fear.
Yeah, I could see that too, that she was afraid of him. Because when she had crawled over to him, she saw his feet up close. And they were all hairy and black, long, sharp toenails and everything else. Not human-looking feet. And definitely not hobbits' feet either. Even though they kind of resemble them a little bit, but no.
Too hairy. Too hairy.
Yeah. Well, the really black, sharp toenails are not hobbitsy feet. But anyways.
Too hairy.
Hobbits have hairy feet.
Hobbits do have hairy feet, Paul.
You gotta keep ruining what I'm trying to accomplish here.
So anyways, after she crawls over to him and sees his feet like that and everything, and she's like, "Oh, honey," and he goes, I want to go live with Dad now. In which case, she does what? How does she respond to that?
She gets pissed. Like, she tells him, "No, I raised you. You're my son. He's not going to take you. He's never been here for. What has he done for you all your life? I'm the one that's been here for you and done everything.
I've done all the heavy lifting."
Yeah, I've done all the heavy lifting. I'm doing this and that. You aren't going anywhere. And she then hugs him. And when she hugs him, you see this bat-like shadow go across the screen real quick.
And then the lights go out.
Dun, and the lights go out. Dun, dun, dun.
And in which case, when this happens, Cora, like Crystal said, Cora has got her arms around Andy, holding on to him for dear life. And she's like, just close your eyes. Don't even look at him. Listen to the story. And so she tells the story. She's like, for the first 3 months that I was carrying you, I was so very ill. I was so unwell. All I could eat was liver and saltines. I couldn't keep anything else down, And, I was such a mess, and I was in so much pain, and in that time, I swear that you could hear me cry while you were within my belly, and she was like, because you and I are bonded. And she was like, where was your father for all of the loneliness and the growing up and the tears and everything else, and I've done all the heavy lifting, and now he wants to come and claim you for his own. Well, I'm not done lifting. I'm not done working. You're my son. You've always been my son. And he's like, it's too late, Mom. He's too big. And she goes, she goes, no, it's not. She goes, he doesn't get to make that choice for you. You do. You make that choice. You make it. And in that moment, you see Andy choose his mother. He grabs onto his mother, wraps his arms around her just as tightly as she is him, and says, I love you, Mom. And in which case, these two hold on to each other for dear life so tightly that they crush each other's rib cages and they kill each other.
And then the blood starts dropping down.
That's some powerful freaking love right there. You're gonna you practically squeeze the life out of each other.
And then this is where I'm gonna pause. And that damn cake got wasted.
Dude, right? That whole fucking cake. Dude, I would have ate my cake.
Yeah. Like, what the hell?
I don't say no
Who
to cake,
wasted
man.
a cake?
I'm a thick, voluptuous woman. I don't turn no cake down.
Damn. Some bad parenthood right there. Letting the kid not eat. Jeez, would have stuffed it down his throat. You eat this cake.
I have made it for you. If you don't eat it, I will.
And it will be good. No matter how horrible it is, you will like it.
Yeah. Now I want to make brownies or something. God damn it. Son of a bitch. Now.
Cheesecake.
So
don't do that to me, Paul. Don't do that to me.
Oh God, I fucking love cheesecake.
I do too.
Oh, I love it so much.
Me too.
Anyways, let's stop talking. Let's stop talking about desserts.
Cheesecake.
I'm about to be up in that kitchen baking at 9 something at night.
Saying cheesecake, you're gonna go and bake it. Ooh.
You can't.
Cheesecake?
Don't have stuff for cheesecake. I have stuff for mint chocolate chip brownies.
Oh, gross! You can have them. Yep, caca. Mint and chocolate do not mix.
Boy.
And so that tale ends, and obviously it just goes to show that nothing can beat motherly love or whatever when it comes to your satanic father trying to come and claim you. Which we learned that Andy was the spawn of Satan.
Yep.
At the end of this tale. So let's talk about the weird dollhouse thing. Walking dollhouse.
I thought we weren't going to talk about it.
We're going to talk about it.
Weird.
We're going to talk about it for a minute because of the simple fact that it is so fucking weird. And Paul and I were both just kind of watching it throughout the fucking film. We're just kind of like, what the fuck is the deal with this fucking dollhouse that's just walking around, feeding itself like moths or whatever? What's with the rotting apple? What's with the fucking taking the hummingbird and putting it inside of this fucking doll to make it come to life? And it's just so weird.
Yeah,
and they use the dead hummingbird to bring this girl back to life. Yeah, and I was just kind of
understand.
I didn't understand any of that.
All I gotta say is way too much makeup on the living girl, though. Way too much.
I really think they're we're going to have a few minutes that we're going to need a filler. Fuck it, let's make a really creepy dollhouse that does weird shit. That'd be perfect. It don't gonna make sense. But let's just do it. No. I mean, unless it's trying to somehow be a symbolic message of life and death, because little hummingbird died, and they stuck it into the dead girl's chest cavity, and she comes back to life. So, I mean, it could be a symbolic message of life and death, maybe? I don't know.
I have no idea.
It was really fucking weird.
Yeah, it was.
It was very fucking weird.
It was way too weird. But before we get tread off too much, but I wanted to say too that did you guys recognize during each of the 4 tales they happened to throw in the name of the title? somewhere.
Oh yeah, within each of the films, the title was mentioned.
Yep.
Like, for example,
The box.
The Box. They actually talked about the box. And then her only living son, Andy, goes, this lady even said that I was his only living son.
And then they tell old girl, don't fall. And
Yep, don't
don't
fall.
fall.
Yep. And then the
birthday
birthday party. Yeah, well, you have to get ready for the birthday party.
Yeah, it's pretty much self-explanatory. The birthday party, well, not a birthday party.
Yeah, you need to go get ready for the birthday party. And then, they're here. It kind of sums it up, too. So, I mean, yeah. I just thought that was kind of interesting, because not that many movies, even in general now, don't really do that.
Play on the real title.
Yeah.
And put it into the movie. So I do gotta give him kudos for that.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely different and unique, that's for sure.
I did appreciate that all the horror stories were in the perspective of majority of the women. Everyone, and that's what it was about. It was supposed to be the perspective of women instead of just like the guys. It was like these are in the perspective of the women characters in the movie. And it was like everything that happened. It happened to a female, so I appreciate that. That was a nice little twist.
Well, don't forget too that the directors for each tale were also women.
Yeah,
as well.
they were.
Yeah.
Each directors of these films were all women.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show women can make fucked up movies as well.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of that.
Yep, indeed. I was entertained.
I mean, alright, I have a question. What was your least favorite one out of the four? Which one did you not care for the most? And what was your favorite?
Ooh. Maybe the Don't Fall one, but then again, I don't know.
The birthday party was my least favorite.
Yeah, I could probably agree with
that.
Yeah,
the birthday party was my least.
I just felt like she was way too dumb.
Yeah,
I
was just pretty much fucking just like, why hide him? Why don't you just call the paramedics and the cops and say, oh, your husband overdosed? It's like she was afraid. Like she's like the only thing that I can think of why she did that is because she didn't want Lucy's birthday party ruined.
Exactly.
Is all I can fucking think of is why she hid him.
Even though
I think it was that, and I think she had this fear of them blaming it on her.
Yeah, that too.
So her fear grew 10 times worse. She was like, "Oh shit, they're gonna find him and they're gonna blame it on me." Because remember, she told Cara that he wasn't home yet, and then she walked in on him dead.
Yeah.
So I think that really amplified her fear of them trying to blame it on her killing her husband, plus the birthday party. So it is pretty much a whole story about paranoia, pretty much. That's what it was.
Oh, yeah.
She was just really fucking paranoid.
Yep, and that's why the kid had to have therapy.
And then, and then my favorite, or the one I like the most, would have to be probably...
I'm gonna go with The Box.
The Box.
The Box is my favorite.
Yeah, The Box is my favorite. Even though I did like certain elements about her only living son, but The Box is definitely would be my favorite.
Oh yeah, it definitely played with my mind way too much.
Yeah, it made you. It made
what
you fucking
is
think.
in the damn box?
Yeah, it really made you think.
That's all I was. The Box is my favorite, and the birthday party is my least favorite. Because I did enjoy the Don't Fall one. I mean, it isn't my all-time favorite, but it did have its moments. And her only living son, I really liked that one too. But the box just it made you use your imagination.
Yeah,
and that's why I really
awesome.
liked it. I still wouldn't know what's not in that block.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. So, is there anything else that we forgot to mention for this? I'm trying to think. Cause that was a good question about which one our recent favorite one was. The music, I'll say this, the music that they used for the, like, walk-in dollhouse, that just fit perfectly, I think, because it was just like, what the hell am I watching, even though this is cool background noise, but, like, what the hell?
It had the whole creepy dollhouse vibe to it, kind of music, so it did fit it. I mean, except for the whole fucking doll thing itself, the music was really good.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'd have to look more on that up to determine it more, especially with the dollhouse dragging that one thing behind it.
The other doll.
Yeah.
Someone was dragging the little doll because it put the bird into the doll first.
That was fucking weird.
And the doll came to life, and then it took the bird out. And then went and put the bird in the little girl, which didn't make no sense to me. I don't know if it was like testing to see if it was actually going to work, or I don't know. Okay, I'm going to change my thing. My least favorite thing was the dollhouse thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would go with that too, but I don't know if I would, I don't really know, I guess.
I mean, if at a movie, I'll stay with my thing, but if I could say the dollhouse, I mean, let's say it. My least favorite thing apart the whole thing, I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
Cool concept, but I don't know.
Yeah, the dollhouse was weird.
Yeah. But I guess we'll have to, I don't know, maybe hope to see if that dollhouse can get its own, like, segment for a movie. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, that stop motion stuff, that was really good. And I just think the dollhouse deserves its own little story.
Like a short film or something.
Yeah, to make it better, help understand, like, is this dollhouse just walking around trying to find life, even though, like, because we all saw the weird-ass little baby doll when she first, like, put the crow or bird inside it, and then you see it, like, twist its head to the other head, and, yeah, like, it's weird. I don't really know what else to say to it. Babe?
There's not really much else you can say. The fucking dollhouse is just really weird. Like, I had my head tilted to the side anytime that thing, like, showed up and did something. I'm just kind of like, I don't get it. And this is really fucking weird.
But
I think the baby doll head from Toy Story 1 is going through a rough patch in life, and, you know, after Toy Story 1, with all the broken toys, it really didn't get a chance to be in any more films, so they're like, hey, we're looking for a disembodied baby doll head on claws. You want to take it? Yes.
yeah.
You know, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? The Sid toys where they're all, like, fucked up. You got the baby doll missing the eye and it had the claw body it walked on.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought of when I first saw it. Was, oh shit, it's the baby doll from Sid's room in Toy Story.
I think it would have been more cooler if the walking dollhouse or the dollhouse or something would, like, somehow connected to the stories, if you get what I'm trying to say. Like, maybe we see, like, the dollhouse in one of the stories or something, and then maybe we could see, like, the crow or something. I don't know. But
It would have been interesting if they actually did more with it.
Yep.
Instead of it just being a filler between
Yeah.
films.
Yeah, instead of it just being a filler, like, if they actually turned it into a full tale like the rest of them, or, like, you know, like...
Yeah, the little short story.
Yeah, like a little short story.
Yeah. I think it definitely would have helped a lot. But, alright, guys, I think that's about wrapped it up.
What would you guys rate this movie? What would you give it for a rating? And would you recommend it to your friends?
Oh, I would definitely recommend it. I
definitely recommend it.
I would probably say 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
If we're going on a 3 out of a 5 scale, I'd give it a 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5.
Yeah, 3 out of 5 sounds right if we're going on a 5 scale.
Yeah, I mean, first, with it being all female directors, with, like Crystal said, like, they can make some... See, women can make scary shit, too. Which is true. And, like, what also Crystal said is the fact that they had 4 protagonists based on women is definitely interesting. Because we don't really see it that much anymore, but then again, we do, maybe. I don't know. I guess it depends on who the hell is making the film and what the story is, I guess.
I really would want to see another one, like how they did the ABC Horrors and ABC Horrors 2.
Oh my god.
I'd love to see them make another one.
Maybe one day ABC of Death will be an episode, but until then, oh god.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, if they want to do another XX, female horror producers, they want to do another one.
No, but I'm just saying, though, now that you just brought that up, though, I'm just thinking, like, if we ever did an episode on that.
That's a lot of horror movies we're going to have to rewatch.
No, that's why I think I would probably just watch it and just write down the ones I hated and which ones I actually enjoyed, I think.
The ABCs of Death?
ABCs of Death, yeah.
Yeah, I actually watched those, like, a couple weeks ago. The fucking first one, though, I remembered why I thought it was so fucked up. The first ABCs of Death, there's, like, one story in there where I'm just like, what the fuck?
Is that the effort for fart?
Yeah, the F is for fart was one of them, and then the other one was the freaking Japanese Nazi chick with the big dick with the sword that came out at the end of it.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that one I was just kind of like, what the fuck? I'm like, okay then. I was like, okay then.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Very weird and creepy at the same time.
I like
then you've got the other one that's like the guys that are strapped down to the chairs and like they have to like finish themselves, and if they don't, they get killed.
Oh yeah, the masturbation one.
Yeah, I was just like, this is really fucked up. I like my dildo sword better than this.
I think I like the ABCs of Death 2 more. I think I like the tales more in that one. Like, one of the ones that sticks out to me for that one is the last one, which is Z for Zygote.
Oh, remind me which one that is.
That's the one where she eats like this like birch root or whatever to keep the baby inside of her from giving birth.
Oh my god!
And she does this for like 10 years or something like that. And she's got like a full-grown 10-year-old child inside of her still.
Yeah, that is still weird as hell.
That one sticks out to me like the most.
I don't know. I like D for Duck. I think it was D for Duck.
that one was a good one too.
Or Quack. Q for Quack or something like that.
Yeah, Q for Quack. That duck one was funny. They're just kind of like, just shoot the duck.
And that poor duck, she's like, are you gonna shoot me or not? Do it, bro. You scared?
Let's go. You got this.
I got this. I ain't scared of you.
But, yeah, I did like... But there was also one tale... I can't remember what letter it was. But there was... Like, I'll tell you a little bit about the tale. It's about the one where the guy creates, like, a parallel dimension or whatever. And meets his parallel self through like this garage door shutter looking machine. And
oh, you talking about the one where he crawls through like the bushes in his backyard? Like he kills himself and it's like it's like a paradox that keeps going.
No. I'm talking about the one where the guy meets his parallel self through like this time machine thingy that he has, where it creates a parallel universe, and the two of them switch places for like 5 minutes and go into each other's realities, and you discover one of them, it has like they're like these like penis demon monsters or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I don't remember this one.
I don't remember it either, unfortunately.
It's really weird because like the woman, like the wife or whatever that's supposed to be in this parallel dimension, her vagina has teeth.
I sound like vagina in China.
It like, you have to rewatch the ABCs of Death too to understand what I'm talking about, I think.
I'm gonna have to rewatch it, cause
I'm pretty sure.
I remember things with penises. I just don't remember that one.
I'm pretty sure it's the ABCs of Death. Maybe it's one of the VHSs, but I'm not sure.
Oh my god, VHSs. Those are interesting. I know another film that I would like to rewatch too, if you guys haven't seen it, and it's called Would You Rather?
Yeah, that's a good one. I wouldn't mind rewatching that and doing an episode on that.
I have to watch it. I don't know if I've ever seen Would You Rather.
It's on Netflix. We also should watch The Rex and do something on that.
And then we should also do one on, I think it's called 9 Lives.
Yeah, so we got a lot of brainstorming ideas going on here for future episodes, people.
I think we should do one on The Craft.
Yeah. Maybe that could be like another Ladies podcast again.
Dude, I'm totally down for The Craft.
Heck yeah.
I mean, it's gonna fit the theme of season 3 when that comes out. I mean, premieres July 13th. So, you guys, I know you're gonna be listening to this by like tonight. After we record this, I'll have it up, and then season finale will be up 3 days later, and then next thing you know, 4 days later, you got season 3.
Hooray!
And then that's when all the Halloween stuff is coming out. Like, should we just make the announcement here, babe, what you and me were talking about real quick?
Sure, baby, we can do that.
Which, the announcement is, season 3 is probably going to be the longest season we're going to do for as of right now. Like, we definitely want to do more because Halloween is like our favorite time of the year. So that means a lot of shit we can talk about. And I mean a lot. Whether it be real life stories of the paranormal to our favorite film, books, whatever. Not only that, but Tessa and I will be heading to Salem, Massachusetts for a day in October, which we are trying to figure out how we could possibly maybe do some episodes there.
Yeah, maybe do some kind of an episode, explore like maybe some of the haunted locations or whatever.
Yeah.
Historical viewpoints and talk about them and stuff. So yeah, stay tuned on that.
Stay tuned on that because that'll be fun as hell.
And we're very much looking forward to this trip because this is actually going to be our first like trip of actually going out of state, getting away together. So, and it's to a place that we absolutely both love. So.
And I haven't been there since 6th grade, so probably like 2000. So that's like 17 years ago.
I haven't been there since I was 2 years old, so it is long overdue.
Do you even remember it being 2 years old?
Yeah, my mom and dad have pictures of me from it. And my mom actually took pictures of me with my mom and my dad in front of the Salem Witch Museum.
And since we're premiering some stuff, Crystal, do you want to say what you're going to be hosting pretty soon in the future?
Well, we all know about the boogeyman. But there are other boogeymen that are actually real life boogeymen. Not the ones you see on the big screen or the tales you hear through books. I am right now currently almost finished, but I told Paul I was trimming it down. I will be doing a podcast on my top 5 favorite serial killers of all time.
H.H. Holmes better be one of them. Cough, cough.
Of course, Holmes is going to be one.
Well,
He may be my top one. You never know.
Well, then, damn. Because then I guess I won't share my H.H. Holmes stuff that I could probably share.
I mean, you can.
But yes, ladies and gentlemen. So, let me just rephrase that again. July 13th, Season 3 premieres. So, make sure you're all caught up with Season 2.
And to our listeners out there, our ever faithful listeners, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for supporting us and listening, and we are grateful to have you.
Yeah, I hope we kind of get you entertained. And then there's like some episodes
Yeah, we
where...
try to be entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, it's sometimes hard, especially
Yeah.
on the filming we're reviewing. But then again, go back...
Or the game. Ugh.
Or go back and listen to like Outlast, where we were literally all drinking to make it through that podcast. So, yeah. That was a fun one, even though it was like us really struggling. Yeah.
And come on, guys. The Void one wasn't that bad, damn it. Come on. Come on.
I would have given it more props if it allowed subtitles. But even on DVD, really, they didn't have subtitles, even on DVD format. I was like, what is wrong with this picture? That's like these other 2 movies I have that don't have subtitles. They're called All Hallows Eve. Look those up. There's All Hallows Eve, and then there's All Hallows Eve 2. And
no subtitles.
Those are weird-ass titles as well. Because I think in, like, the second one, there's, like, a fly trap plant that like devours a human, or it's a pumpkin or something that devours a human. It's weird.
Feed me, Seymour. Feed me.
Yeah.
Little Shop of Horrors reference much?
Yes.
Somebody feed me. Oh god.
That's another movie we gotta do. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Shop of Horrors.
Yeah, we forgot how really strange the end of that movie was.
Yep.
It's fucking bizarre.
So bizarre. But it's so good.
It's so good.
It's like my left foot. Always on da.
I really do think we need to do a horror musical podcast with Rocky Horror, Little Shop of Horrors, Repo. I think those would be fun to have like one big podcast.
Oh, those would be fun. But maybe season 3 will have those. Dun dun dun. Will they or will
To
not?
be continued.
You better listen and find out.
It's gonna be fun, and like I said, it's gonna be the longest one. So there's gonna be
Yeah. So we'll have enough treats and tricks up our sleeves, I hope.
All intestine may have the treats, but I'm all about the tricks.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Alright guys, until next time, I was your co-host for this episode, Paul Dolska.
And I was your host, Tessa Baker.
And I'm your co-assistant co-host, Priscilla Labello.
And like always, ladies and gentlemen,
Stay scary.